You know, it actually kind of works. That's pretty cool. Hello YouTube, my name is uidsea, and I guess this is gonna be Jesus News Daily. I don't know. Jesus Gaming, Holy Gaming News. That's what it can be called. Let me know if you like that name. That sounds kind of cheesy, but either way, we'll do it. So, we got a bit of news up today. Not as much as last week. I was digging around, but I really just couldn't find too much that I was actually interested in. Maybe that's a sign that I'm actually getting older and not really worried about games anymore. I don't know. But anyways, let's just do it. Alright, so first up on this, Super Mario Odyssey has its first review out by Edge Magazine, and it got a 10 out of 10, a perfect score, which they, according to this magazine, only 19 other games in this magazine's history has actually gotten a 10 out of 10. Breath of the Wild being one of them, a few others being like some of the older games, Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, things like that. So that really shows a testament to how this game is going to be, because if we've learned anything from Nintendo over the past year, is that if you give Nintendo the ability to make an open world game, such as with Breath of the Wild, they will take it and run so fucking far with it. You don't even know. Hopefully, I'm just really hoping that this is going to be, you know, game of the year, or if not, very close to it, because, okay, so I never really played the Super Mario something or others. Well, what are those? Super Mario Galaxies. I never played Super Mario Galaxies before. I like started it, but I never really got around to it. But everyone said those were amazing games. And that was like the one where you like jumped on different planets and like walked around and you collect stars with like the Wiimote and things like that. It was a weird but interesting game, but it was a very, very highly rated. I think that was actually a 10 out of 10 too. And if that is anything of this game, and if this game is a 10 out of 10, and if Breath of the Wild was 10 out of 10, and Nintendo keeps on doing good open world... Actually, no, I really hope they don't keep doing open world games, because I don't got time for that, man. I still haven't beaten Breath of the Wild. I only beaten like one Divine Beast so far. This fucking Mario Odyssey... this Mario Odyssey thing, man, I am not probably going to be able to finish it at all, ever. It's ridiculous, but either way, Nintendo does do some great things, so let's hope that it keeps it going. This is also the stuff everyone talks about section, in case I didn't say that already. So, loot crates and loot boxes in games have been popping up like no one's business. Shadow of War, the new game from the Shadows of Mordor series. The Shadow of Mordor was a game a few years back where we played in the Lord of the Rings setting, and it was kind of like an Assassin's Creed-esque Arkham-style gameplay thing where you played as a guy who is going around killing like the different generals of the Dark Army of Sauron and all that stuff, and it's really cool. It had a nemesis system, which pretty much, like, if you get killed by insert enemy here, like if he's like a little general, lieutenant or something, when you get killed by him, he'll actually move up in rank and kill his superior, and then like there's this whole big stacking tiered system, which was really cool. It was really innovative. I'm actually surprised that no other games have copied it. You would think with how things go in the gaming world, if something like that works, most of the time it's copied, but also I think it can't be applied to very many things, you know? You can't just stick that in like Breath of the Wild or something. That's not going to make any sense. So I guess that doesn't make sense. But I'm still really surprised that the Nemesis system hasn't really been captured at all. But either way, Shadows of War, the sequel to that, has come out, and there are loot boxes in game. So the loot chests, pretty much, there are a few different types of loot chests, and you buy with different types of currency in game that you can get, and they give you different items and consumables. And what one of the things was saying was that the review that I was reading was that these are actually skippable. It's something that you don't actually have to do. There are multiplayer versions of the chests, which I'm assuming are going to contain different types of weapons that you do for multiplayer and all that, which is good. But a big thing with that came out because Battlefront 2 also had the same thing, different loot chests, and actually it kind of got in a bit of a hot seat because like one of the very first things on the page was loot crates, and that actually World War II, Call of Duty World War II had the same thing, where it was the biggest advertisement that I saw for it on PSN was like in-game current or like premium currency and loot crates, not really so much the gameplay. And a lot of people have been really upset at that lately because, especially with Shadow of War, you know, why is it that a single-player game is getting loot crates? Which it has multiplayer, yes, but the single-player game, why is it that we need to use that to unlock things? Which, I mean, I don't know, I can kind of understand it. Like, it's a way that you get money in game, and it's a way that you spend it. And from what the initial reviewer said, I think it was on Kotaku, was saying that, I mean, they're swimming in the money once like 60 hours in. Like, they can buy those loot crates left and right to get different items. So if it's really accessible, I understand that, but it's, I don't know, I still don't really understand why it is. And a few other games that have it. Shadows of War was the main one. Destiny 2 but I kind of figured that with Destiny 2, it's always been kind of like a weird MMOE type thing. And then Star Wars Battlefront 2. And a big controversy came up because the ESRB has said that it does not consider loot crates a form of gambling. So as it says, the ESRB does not consider loot crates to be gambling. While there's an element of chance these mechanics of patches, players always guaranteed to receive in-game content, even if the player unfortunately receives something they don't want. We think of it as a similar principle to collectible card games. Sometimes you open a pack and get a brand new holographic card you've had your eye on for a while, other times you'll end up with a pack of cards you already have. So that comes up in the whole sense of, you know, are the loot crates gambling? Because I'm on the same side with ESRB. Like, a lot of people are up in arms about this, but realistically, it kind of makes sense because if you think about it, Hearthstone has been doing this this is the business model of Hearthstone, essentially, and that's become one of the biggest games of, at least the biggest TCG of all time. Hopefully MTG Arena beats that, which also I've been playing Pokemon online card games. Pretty cool. It's pretty fun. Either way, it has the same thing. It has the same thing as Hearthstone. Pretty much what it is you use the in-game currency that you get from matches to be able to buy cards and packs. And, you know, the packs they're technically a gamble, yes, but that's also kind of like, they're kind of like packs of cards that you get, you know, whenever you played Magic as a kid, or Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, whatever it is. It's kind of the same principle, is that you get the packs, and then you could get things that you already have, or you could get something rare and new. And I'm on the ESRB side with this, that it's not really gambling. What is gambling are those fucking CSO skin websites that those big YouTubers all supported and actually ended up owning. And see, that something like that is gambling. I think, to an extent it is. I think really the biggest thing with that whole like CSGO skin thing was mainly the fact that the big YouTubers who were actually, you know, endorsing it didn't actually disclose that, hey, this is our website, we're going to make a shit ton of money from you for doing this. But whatever, that's already something that's pushed under the rug, no one even cares about. Just like everything else on the internet, you know, it's really big for about 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden some other new controversy comes up. But either way, I'm on the ESRB side. This is kind of like card packs from like Hearthstone or something like that. Which it doesn't make it right. Like, we shouldn't have loot crates in a single player game. Battlefront 2, Destiny 2, they're all online games, which, I mean, you kind of already have the random chance either way. Like, when you go fight a raid boss in Destiny, you can get the engrams, and it could be a legendary, it could just be another shitty green one. I mean, there's always that chance, and loot boxes give you a higher chance to do that, which a lot of people actually do like buying loot boxes because they like the, you know, like the, funnily enough, the gambling aspect of it, you know, because you spend your money on something that could be good or just, you know, bunk. And I still don't think the loot crates are gambling. I still don't believe that. But that is also for an argument, that's also arguments for people that are way above my pay grade. Either way, next one. So the SNES Classic hit 368,000 sales in 4 days in Japan. That's hilariously impressive. I mean, we kind of expected so, because look at what happened with the NES Classic. That sold out almost instantly, and everyone was going there. I work in retail, and I got to actually see those things. Most of the time, it's kind of sad, because I'm pretty sure Nintendo actually just didn't make enough to create an artificial inflation to buy them. Because, I mean, you go onto eBay, and I am positive you can find a NES Classic on there for $1,000, because someone thinks that they have fucking gold. But realistically, it's just a Raspberry Pi with some emulators on it. But that is also kind of a testament to showing that people will pay insane amounts of money for nostalgia, which I kind of understand. Like, every now and then I'll install an emulator on my phone and just, you know, like play something, you know, play like one of the old Zelda games, or like one of the old Metroid games, or Pokemon, or something like that. Which realistically, like, Nintendo actually released Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow on the Virtual Console. Is that what it's called? The thing that you could do on like the Wii U and the 3DS and all that stuff. They did that like what, a year ago or something, and it shows that it's a testament, because those became bestsellers in the Nintendo eShop. But it's also one of those things where it's like, yes, you could spend the money to have this, but realistically there are already other ways that you could have it. Like I said, you could be one of the many cockbags like myself who won't shut up about just putting Raspberry Pis on there, and, you know, hey, I can make you one with 13 that'll play 1,300 games instead of 30, but, you know, the dude's still gonna buy the other one because it has a little goddamn Nest looking case on it. God. If I had a 3D printer, I would be able to make so much money. Actually, that'd probably be a really big legal battle, and I really don't want to get in a legal battle with Nintendo. But either way, 368,000 sales in 4 days. Very, very impressive. Alright, so the next one is a game called My Time at Portia, which is a weird blending of Animal Crossing, Dark Cloud, 2 Harvest Moon, and different Miyazaki works. I never actually played it on the channel, but I played it a bunch. I got a review copy like a good month or two ago, and it really, really plays fun. It plays really, really well. It really does give the feeling mainly of Harvest Moon to me, although you don't really see as many animal gatherings because it's still on the stretch goals to make everything else. But you can, not only can you can build and you can craft and you can farm, but you can also dungeon delve, and that's really cool. That this whole game is just really, really fun. It evokes like those older games of just ridiculous fun all the time. You know, it's a game that just doesn't have negativity. It's always positive. You can just do your thing, and it is amazing. Kind of like Yonder, the Cloud Catcher Chronicles. That was also a game that came out. I put that on the channel a little bit. That was really fun, and it was also something kind of like that, although it had a bit more of like Wind Waker to it. But either way, My Time at Portia is really great. Go check it out down. I'll put a link down in the description below. It is really, really fun. I think there's a demo that you can try on the Kickstarter website. I'm not entirely 100% on that. If you like Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing or any of those games, you will absolutely love it. And yes, there is a demo on the Kickstarter page, and it says with 6 to 8 hours of gameplay. So you will have yourself quite a little bit of fun with that. I'd say you can kickstart it, but the Kickstarter is actually just finished, so we can't unfortunately do that. But either way, I'm really excited for it. I can't wait for its full release. This one's more of like a quick little aside because I didn't really play the game very much, but Overgrowth. It was a game a bunch of years back that came out. A bunch of big YouTubers played it and all that stuff, and it was pretty much like you're this bunny rabbit man, and it's a weird fighter and it has these crazy physics, and you can like jump all around the rocks of the world and all that stuff. It's really interesting. After 9 years, 8 years, 9 years, it has finally gotten out of early access development, and it will be fully released. I'm just really surprised that it was even still a thing. I completely forgot about the game until I read the little headline, and it's interesting to see that early access isn't always bad, because there are developers who are constantly and actively working on it, even if it is only just like 1 or 2 people and they take years. There are still many early access things that do very well, and that's the problem that I kind of have, because a lot of people are just like, oh, I swear off of early access completely. I can't because there are so many like gems hidden in there. Like Ark, I've put in probably about 100 something hours of Ark in the past like month, and that's early access, which yes, it still has glitches and all that, but the developers are still working on it, and it's kind of like this Overgrowth. I'm really freaking surprised that it's a thing, honestly. I'm just really surprised. It was a pretty fun game. If I remember right, I tried just a tiny bit of it. I think I found like a demo maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe I even backed it, I don't know. For all I know, I probably have it on some type of like Humble Bundle or something, but I remember watching, I think, like Markiplier and a few other people playing it, and it's a really interesting and different game. I suggest going to at least go check out some of the videos if you don't want to buy it, but definitely interesting. Definitely check it out. Alright, so Mech Warrior 5 has been announced. Yes, Mech Warrior. Those games that we used to play on the original Xbox and all that. Mech Warrior 4, by comparison, was released in 2000. So this is going to be 18 years after the release. There was also the Mech Warrior Online that came to Steam, I think, like about a year ago. I played it a little bit, and while it was fun, to me it didn't really like capture that Mech Warrior feel. I don't know what it was about, but I just I played it and I was so excited because I love mech games. My favorite game of all time is a game, very hidden gem called Phantom Crash for the original Xbox. The difference with that and almost every other mech game that I've seen is that it's more fast-paced and you have the ability to turn invisible. It's like a really fast-paced battle royale type thing, which was hella fun. But Mech Warrior 5 is coming out, and the Mech Warrior series has always been much more of like, these are military structures. These are these big entrenched, things that walk around with gigantic fucking missile pods. They're not fast at all. They are just beasts of burden that fire out hilarious amounts of payload. And if we can get back to that, that would be great. And it says most more Mech Warrior games have maybe 12 to 15 mech classes. We're looking to have upwards of 60 chassis and 300 to 400 variants. So that is going to be amazing. If that does anything like, I don't know, I don't even know like a modern comparison for Mech Warrior. I can't really think of anything that would be like has the feel of it. But either way, I'm really excited for it. I just really want to get back into a mech and pilot it, which is really weird, right? For all the competitiveness that we have online nowadays, we have like Overwatch, League of Legends, PlayerUnknown Battleground, things like that. With all the like interconnected gameplay and multiplayer things, I'm really surprised that we don't have more mech games. Like I said, we have Mech Warrior Online, but that didn't do too well. If I remember correctly, there was a lot of like pay-to-win elements that were set up kind of rocky. But I'm really surprised mechs haven't come back out, because think about it, Pacific Rim Uprising, I think it is. Pacific Rim the sequel has come out. Or not come out, but has been announced. Just like Pacific Rim that was released a few years ago. Like, people love mechs. People love giant fucking robots to crawl into, which there was like a VR game that kind of got big a little while ago where you're piloting a mech. But, people love mechs. Where the fudge are our mech games? I would love to be able to climb into a 15-ton nuclear death machine and just be able to kill each other online. It'd be beautiful. Love it. So we have this game, Arctica, that's come out, and it's a VR, from what it seems like, it's a VR survival horror type game, and you're in Russia, and you're in Vostok, and it is from the same developers who made the Metro series, Metro 2033, Metro Last Light, etc., etc. I'm really excited for it. It is an Oculus Touch game, which I'm pretty sure it's going to translate to the Vive as well. As you can see here, you get to be able to duck around cover and corners and all that fun stuff. There is, like I said, there is some horror aspects to it, which are great, which you'll see right here. I'm very, very excited for it. And that kind of also asks another question, like, I am really, really excited for all the different VR games that are going to be coming out and that have come out so far. I've played a ridiculous amount of just incredible experiences that it really shows that like 15-20 years ago, people would have no fucking clue what was going to be going on in the future. So I remember when I was a kid, we had this kind of like, I think it was called like a Virtual Boy. No, not Virtual Boy. That's an emulator. It was like a virtual something or other, and it was like you did have a headset that you put on, and then you had to like a little joystick pew pew thing. But it was more of like an on rails type thing, and it was a very, very basic one. It had like 8-bit graphics, if I remember. I just remember going to the toy store and like going to a Toys R Us and seeing that on the shelf, and like every time I was like, "Can we get that?" And they're like, "No." Like, video games aren't gonna go anywhere. Look at me now. Yeah, but virtual reality is getting crazy. Arctica looks really interesting. I'm happy and excited for more VR kind of survival horror, which it wasn't all, but as you saw, there was like a quick little like horror element, which I'm pretty sure is going to be quite a few more. The developer also talked about having like a free movement system, which it didn't feel very natural. So they actually, as you saw for just a second, there was like a blue person just standing there. Pretty much how you move around the game is through teleport points. So those nodes, like you point at them and you'll just show up at that one. So if like someone's flanking you on your left, then you blink over there to your right so that you can, you know, shoot them and not have to worry about it. It's really cool. They were saying that a free teleport system, they tried it, but it turns out that people just either overestimated or underestimated where they need to go. So understandable, which is different games like when I played The Lab and things like that. It's a free VR demo if you have a VR headset. You can check it down on Valve or in Steam. But when I played that, I realized, because you could like hold the trigger to the Vive and like you click and it kind of like arcs you over, and I did notice that I did kind of like overestimate my shots a lot, and I ended up appearing, you know, like a foot or two away from what it is that I wanted to get. So it's really cool. I like that the dev is kind of choosing more of a, well, we're going to put this slightly more on rails, not give you the quote-unquote freedom to be able to move completely, but you're still going to have that type of experience. And you know, if something jumps out in your face, you can still turn around and blink back, I'm pretty sure. If not, that's going to be a weird system, but either way, I'm pretty excited for it. The last thing that I'm excited for is Code Vein. So Code Vein is from the same developers of the Dark Souls series, and it is a, from what many people have compared it to, it's a vampire Souls-like. That's not how quotes actually work in real life. I don't know why people do that. Air quotes? No, it's actually air quotes. But either way. So yeah, Code Vein, it's this vampire-like RPG, and they were saying that while there are going to be some aspects to Dark Souls, like the combat's going to be somewhat similar, there's also going to be some other things that are very different. Like, as you can see right here, there are different companions that you can unlock throughout the game that you play, and as you play through the game, you unlock more of them, and when you don't actually use them, they just hang around at like your little base camp and whatnot. I'm kind of thinking this is similar to the Pawns system in Dragon's Dogma, which I kind of liked it because you could create your own person to like accompany you with and all that, but at the same time, I don't know, like I didn't really like it. It was cool you could create your own like companion, but I don't know, it didn't seem to really work too well personally. That might have been just me, like, being bad at the game, I don't know. But the developers of Code Vein did say that it is going to have an interconnected world. They haven't been talking about anything multiplayer yet, but they do acknowledge that there is some type of online system. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to be like this pawn system similar to Dragon's Dogma, or if it's actually going to be kind of like the Dark Souls thing where you could summon players and whatnot. There also is no options to change the difficulty like easy, normal, or hard. So, I mean, that makes sense. It's a Souls-like game. Let's just be honest. We don't need difficulty sliders. We are most of the time able to beat some of the bosses. Kind of. Yeah. So that's pretty much all our gaming news this week that I could dig up. I can't really think of any new segments I could put back here, like at the end. Probably just going to leave this as like a quick little talky talk session to you, which I guess if you want a talky talk session, then we could have. I guess I'll just leave this blank for the time being. I don't really know what else to put here yet. I haven't really been able to do much else other than stream when I can and make like videos like these. So we'll see what's going on. I was thinking about still putting some comic reviews and things like that back down here, but I haven't read any comics in a while. So yeah, I am kind of excited. There's like a new little D&D game that's coming out on Steam, but it's not really of much interest. There are a lot of other games that I haven't been able to cover, like A Hat in Time, Battle Chasers Night War, a bunch of things like that. Things that people have actually been playing a lot over the week. I haven't been able to catch any of them, unfortunately. I have them, I just haven't had a chance to actually try them, but either way, thanks for watching. Let me know on some games that you might be excited for. Let me know on some things that aren't just like the most popular things, you know, like the loot crates and things and Super Mario Odyssey. Let me know on some lesser known gaming facts that you can think of. or that you have read in the past little while. I'm all ears to try and hear something new, maybe even play something new. Who knows, we could actually find ourselves a fun new game or a new favorite game. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to punch that like button, all that fun stuff. Subscribe if you want to see some more, and see you. Bye.